All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Julie LaVoice. Welcome to Wine and Reason, the Hold My Beer edition. I realize that might be a little confusing, but it's 2020. Everything's confusing right now. First unsighted in the description story of the day, a squirrel tested positive for bubonic plague in Colorado, which actually, in the midst of COVID, isn't all that scary because the nice thing about the bubonic plague, as horrible as it was for our ancestors, is that we have antibiotics now. And the bubonic plague is, um, bacterial. So if you can take antibiotics, whether penicillin or oh my gosh, sorry, notifications. Like I hope y'all can hear that. Anyway, yeah. So if you happen to catch bubonic plague, you can go to the hospital and get treated for that, and you are very unlikely to actually die from it these days, which is nice. I'm not saying it's fun, not saying it's a good time. But yeah, and that's actually been the case. That that plague never went away. It still exists in fleas, and that's how it ends up getting into mammals like rats and squirrels and such. But yeah, so that happened. 2020 plague squirrels. All right. Last time I talked about Christian teen COVID-19 parties. Adults are having them too. So I think Junk Shop just put this link in the chat because we just found this right before I went live. Apparently, 43 people tested positive after a party in Michigan, a house party. Why the fuck? Oh, by the way, this show's not for kids. I'm drinking. I'm smoking tobacco. Don't do that. It's stupid, especially when there's a pandemic that affects your respiratory system and pulmonary system. Don't do that. It's dumb, but I'm doing it. And so if you're under 18 and you are not here without a parent or guardian, I need you to get the fuck out because I also can't watch my language. Sorry, Chris. I see you in the chat. Hey, darling. Okay. So 43 people decided to go to a house party in Michigan and they all caught COVID-19. A 30-year-old guy, and honestly, y'all, at this point, there are so many of these stories, I'm starting to lose track. So I apologize. I do not remember. I want to say it was CNN, but I might be wrong. A 30-year-old man went to a COVID-19 party for adults. This one was a pool party. Someone tested positive, called everyone that they knew, and invited them over. And this guy, the 30-year-old in question, went to the party because he, like a relative of mine, actually, I'm not going to say who, but I do have one relative who believes this, at least last time we spoke, believed that the pandemic was a hoax and did not believe the virus was real. He died from it. Before he died, he told a nurse that he thought he'd made a mistake. Yeah, he did. And it cost him his life. Okay. So wear your masks, wash your damn hands, stop being idiots. But what's interesting, all right, so in my own neck of the woods, we got Tennessee, right? And we have so many cases. It's getting a little scary. We're not quite up there with Texas and Florida, but we're not that far behind. Um, all right. Oh, yeah, there's the squirrel story. The squirrel story is on abcnews.com. You can check that out. Plague squirrels. That's just plague squirrels. Murder hornets weren't that scary. Rain bug let us all know that, but plague squirrels freaks me out a little bit. All right. Anyway, let's see. Where's the stuff that I wanted to? Okay. So as of um, the 13th, I believe, uh, Oh, so as of like yesterday, well, this was probably last. This was probably as of Friday. I'm sorry. WJHL Tri Cities News and Weather reported that from the Tennessee Department of Health, 61,443 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Tennessee. So in my state alone, um, and then it just gets. I'm sorry. It gets more depressing from here. So just strap on in. You know, those of you in the UK, it's after 5. Have a drink if you do that. If you drink, you know. All right. Also, here's the article about the 30-year-old guy. This was in this was on people.com. So it's like People magazine. It's not quite the equivalent of the Daily Mail, I don't think, but I did verify this with another news source. So this I did find this in a more newsy news source that I will tell you what that is in a second. But again, patient 30 dies after attending COVID party in Texas, told nurse, I think I made a mistake. Yes, sir, you did, and it killed you. Um, so, okay. And so I told you how many cases we had in Tennessee. We recently, very recently, as of July 13th, we had yet another spike in daily cases. I'm grinning like I'm enjoying this. I'm not. This is me trying not to go crazy right now and scream into the microphone. So, yeah. 3,300 plus new cases of COVID-19 in Tennessee makes for the largest spike in 24 hours. So a minute ago, when I told you we'd had over 63,000 cases, is that what I said? Is that what I really said? My God. Anyways, since after that, as of the 13th, 3,300 more and counting. Okay. And people are like trying to hug people, and people are getting offended, and they're like, no, don't hug me. And then apparently apparently Florida saw our numbers and said, hold my beer, because Florida shatters U.S. record of single day COVID-19 cases. And this is from CNN. The Florida Department of Health, the Florida Department of Health reported 15,299 COVID-19 cases Sunday, the highest number of new cases reported in a single day by any state since the coronavirus pandemic began. Now, this article does note that in Florida, that also, since this report came in on Sunday, it may have included people who tested positive on Saturday as well. But yeah, they were all listed for Sunday. The previous record, also set by Florida, came on July 4th with 11,434 new cases reported, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. And that is CNN.com, and you can check that one. That one actually, I believe, is linked in the show notes. All righty. And then there's a big list at work at home, part-time jobs. There's some good links in there if you're looking for ways to avoid catching this horrible thing. With coronavirus cases climbing across the U.S., local and state leaders have found themselves at odds over the types of restrictions that should be in place to move forward effectively. So in our state, our Governor Lee, recently had to walk back um, our original, like, going back to normal phase. Like, we were no longer in the shelter at home phase of things, and we were trying to move into phase 2 of going back to normal. But and then we hit all of those spikes, and we hit a lot of deaths. And actually, I think I've got the number for deaths as well in Tennessee. Let me see if I do. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is Florida again. Florida reports record 132 new deaths, plus 9,100 plus new COVID-19 cases, and that was uh, updated today. So, yay. And that's from WESH 2, ABC News Online. Okay. So yeah, this thing is real. It's still going around. Oh, and I have to mention the Lone Star State because Texas has more cases than any other state. Now, in all fairness, Texas is huge. It's not necessarily densely populated, but if you've ever, looked at a map of the US, or if you had to memorize the states when you were a kid, you were given a blank map in school and you had to fill in all the states, then yeah, Texas is the really big one in the kind of western, southwestern part of the map. Yeah. So it's basically, yeah, definitely Texas, then Florida, and then I think Tennessee. At one point, we were fifth. I don't know if we're fourth or sixth now. So it's fun. Yeah, Druid lover. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I am also tired of winning. Yeah, I'm tired of winning. I'm tired of all the winning. Whether you mean that in the Trump sense or in the, oh, we're number one in new cases of COVID sense, either way, I'm tired of it. Oh, man. All right. So, what are you all saying it in the chat? Oh, Chris. Yeah, this is good. Why is it when we're number one in bad things? I know, right? Because people, the thing I'm trying not to learn from this whole experience, but that it just keeps happening. Apparently, a lot of people are just immensely stupid because the best defense against COVID-19 is doing what doctors have been telling us to do since the beginning. Socially distance, isolate yourself, only go out for necessities and when you absolutely have to, and wear a mask when you do that. And they've been saying this since what, late February? And it's just ravaging our country. Oh, and that's another thing. When I said that my state, my city had to walk back, yeah, we walked back from phase 2 to phase 1, and now it's a city and state. There are city and state ordinances for wearing masks in all public spaces. So that's the good news. I've actually seen more people wearing masks because you can be fined if you're out in public not wearing a mask, and I'm happy about that. I actually picked up a new one today because that helps reduce moisture on the inside so my glasses don't steam up. And it's awesome. And it was $8 at Kroger. So there's that. There's some free advertising for you. All right. So, oh, no. Yes, Dave, you did. A study out of King's College showed that immunity from having caught it by it, Dave means COVID-19, drops off after a couple of months. So if you're like our dear, lovely, grumpy old dude and you've already suffered through this once, you have to be very careful and make sure you don't get it again. So, yeah, that was a really, oh, sorry, darling. I didn't mean to bring that up, but that's cool. Yeah, oh, shit, indeed. I we're basically really fucked. At this point, I was trying to find the funny in this. I really was. I can point you to some people that find the funny. I've got my 2 votes citation needed podcast t-shirt on. The guys that do Cecil and Tom, who do cognitive dissonance, and the Puzzle and the Thunderstorm guys, Noah, Heath, and Eli, they get together and do citation needed, and it's freaking hilarious. So check that out. That one's really good. All of their podcasts are really good, honestly. But yeah, I love citation needed. All right. Oh, this is interesting. All right. So Druid Lover says, oh, dear. I keep, sorry. I promise, Druid Lover, I'm not picking my spouse over you. It just keeps, the chat keeps moving. That's the thing. Okay. Okay. In Michigan. You're in Michigan. Oh, so's one of my cousins. Okay. Governor Whitmer made mask mandatory. Good, good. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I have a cousin in Michigan, and I do not want her to catch this. Um, yeah, I agree. Brainbug has some excellent advice. Just avoid people. And we were talking on critical questions yesterday. Um, Dave asked us a really good question. Is the internet I forget exactly how the question was phrased, Dave, so please forgive me. I'm just going to paraphrase. But essentially, is the internet a force for, good or evil, I guess, in the world? And I think we all said, well, both. It just depends on the user, right? It's a tool like any other tool. But something that a lot of us also said was the internet's the one thing that's kept me sane this whole time. And as somebody who takes 3 psychotropic drugs to function on a daily basis, yeah, you being able to talk to all of you, to be on YouTube, to make friends from all over the place, yeah, has helped me a lot. Um, I love hanging with Junk Shop. We are actually amazingly not sick of each other yet, which is great. I'm not sure how that happens. I don't know, but that's been okay. We haven't minded being stuck together. Um, Now I have a Huey Lewis song in my head from the 80s. And if you remember that song, you're as old as I am. Okay. Um, yeah. Oh, you don't have to like everybody. That's okay. Mississippi governor. This is Amiga Nuts. Hey, Amiga Nuts. Mississippi governor has concluded. Hang on, I'll just pull this up. Ah, dang it. Hi. Hey. Hang on. No, I'll leave that up for a second. Hey, Godless Scummer. It's so good to see you. I was all grumpy yesterday morning, and we made up after the show. If anybody watched the show, okay. Mississippi governor has concluded that herd immunity is not attainable. He did the math. Given that Mississippi has, I think, the worst performing public school system in the country, if it's not the worst, it's in the bottom 3. But I think it's the worst. I need to double check that. I don't know if I trust that governor from that state to do the math, as it were. I don't know that he can math. Although I actually agree, herd immunity is impossible with this. This is the kind of thing where we're gonna just have to try and stop giving it to each other, and in 1 to 4 years, most likely, for when they develop a vaccine, we'll probably end up getting our COVID-19 shots the same day that we get our flu shot every year. That would be a best case scenario, I think. Let's see. Got a question from Druid Lover 1. Julia Voice, did you see the photo of T-Rump wearing a mask? Oh, right. Got it. Wearing a mask during a hospital visit. If you look at a blow up of that pic, you can see his pupils. Looks like he's coming down off shrooms. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that particular human being, and this isn't, oh, could that be slander? I don't know. I sometimes wonder if some people who behave erratically in the public sphere are perhaps on a weird cocktail of uppers and downers. I do wonder about that sometimes, but I'm not naming any names in this moment. Okay. All right, got a question from Chris. Let's see. What would it take for the South to, I guess, remodernize with the rest of the country? Oh, honey, if I had an idea, I would shout it from the rooftops. I don't know, darling. I really don't. For one thing, we've got to give up this lost cause fantasy. We romanticize the Civil War down here like it wasn't like you will hear this from the time you are a tiny baby. Your whole life you'll hear that that war was not about slavery, it was about states' rights, right? That's the first lie. It was totally about slavery. Um, and the economics of slavery and the fact that you know the country was built on the blood, sweat, tears, and bodies of slaves. The White House was built by slaves, for fuck's sake. So anyway, so they'll try to tell you it's about that. And you'll see the bumper stickers with the rebel flag that say heritage, not hatred. And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't look at that flag without feeling uncomfortable. I can't imagine what that's like for a person of color to see that. Uh, in terms of getting the South up with the rest of the country, at least to the point where when comedians do jokes about stupid people, they don't automatically adopt an accent like mine. That'd be nice. um, I think we'd have to, for one, drastically improve our education system. And to do that, we have to improve our economic situation. And certainly, the pandemic is not helping with either of those things. But yeah, we have an educational deficit here, and we have a poverty problem. And we know that those two things, pretty much go together, kind of like anxiety and depression. You get poverty and lower education, and so you get people who are credulous, who have not been taught how to think. They've just been told what to think their whole lives, and that makes things rough. So that's my 2 cents on that, Chris. Yeah, sorry, I smoke these completely unsafe for you, but perfectly organic and but lovingly packed cigarettes. That will go out if you don't smoke it for a second. So that's why I keep relighting it. Okay, let's see. Hey, Spooky Bed Hair. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you. Aw, Amiga Nuts. You're so sweet. I don't know. Do I? I spent a good portion of my teenage years trying to get rid of my Western Kentucky accent, which is kind of like I'm fixing to wash the windows. It's kind of like that. You just any OW sound or AR sound or A sound that's kind of immediately just tag an R on the end of it, and then phrases like fixing to. Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, and Godless Summer knows a lot about UK and US history. But yeah, states' rights was the propaganda the South used at the time as well. Yeah. Although Alexander Stephens, vice president of the Confederacy, said it was about white supremacy in the Cornerstone speech. Yes. And all of the state, I believe I'm right with this. I think all of the states that seceded from the Union did state slavery as a cause, as a reason that they were seceding when they did it. So, yeah, fun with that. Ricardo, hello, Dave. I can't do the Hal 9000 voice, but I love that you always type that in. Yeah. Yeah, states' rights, as long as those rights don't include wanting to protect slaves that escape. Yeah, exactly. In fact, that is the source of the police in the U.S. And there's a clause in our 13th Amendment. The first cops, they weren't like cops like we think of policemen and women today, police officers today, but they were the first folks that had that kind of authority to go like detain people were runaway slave catchers. That was their job. They were white dudes who were sent out, usually with dogs, to track down runaway slaves and bring them back, which is so gross. And then also, I learned something else recently because I was watching a documentary. There's been lots of time for documentaries. And this one's on Netflix and Dagnam, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. It's disturbing. It's got some really hard to look at photography from back in the day. There are images of lynchings and things like that that are real. So it's a little rough. It's a little rough to get through, but it's got good information. But yeah, there's this wee clause in the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment, just paraphrasing again, I'm not a lawyer, not a constitutional scholar or anything, but the 13th Amendment is basically the amendment that ended slavery, right? So it's like you can't have unpaid laborers unless they are prisoners detained for committing convicted of a crime, right? So suddenly you had people, particularly in the South, but kind of in lots of places, suddenly police were arresting Black Americans for damn near anything, just so they could get them on a chain gang for free labor. And to this day, while we do pay prisoners who work in prisons now, like, license plates is a classic example, we pay them like, it's ridiculous. It's like 38 cents an hour or something. It varies from state to state, but it's not a real wage by any means. Oh, goodness gracious. So yeah, we need a lot of change. All right. Um Oh, should I switch to live? Am I on top chat? I am so sorry, guys. If I've been missing things, I apologize. Give me a sec. Oh, well, hi, Paul. It looks I should be seeing all of them. Let me double check. Oh, nope, nope, that's not the right button. Don't want to hit that right now. All right, I should be seeing everything. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so adults are also having COVID-19 parties, either because they're not convinced that, whoa, why do I look all red suddenly? Am I having an allergic reaction or is my lighting bad? Dun, 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 dun. Hang on. Yeah, I think this is a lighting issue. Now I look like a ghost. Woo! Okay. Well, whatever. So so the main thing is people are having COVID-19 parties for adults as well, either because they don't believe the virus is real, and it is, um, or because they think that if they get it, they might as well just go ahead and get it and get over it. But we're still learning how bad this is for you, and the fact that people are going to have lifelong health problems associated with this. We should really be thinking of COVID-19 kind of how the generations before us had to think about tuberculosis, which is also still out there in a lot of places, but we've largely eradicated it. In the States, anyway, did up to a point. There was actually a breakout of tuberculosis at my university one year. So it still happens sometimes. Um, oh, here we go. So Stuttering Chris asks, this is a good question. Would you guys get vaccinated when it comes out, or would you be hesitant because of how rushed it is? That is a good question, Chris. Because, for example, when new medications come out, I always wait for the generic. I absolutely always wait for the generic, because I wanna give, you remember when people were taking, yeah, polio vaccine. Thank you, Dr. Salk. I don't know. Thank you so much. So many of us owe our lives to Dr. Salk. But anyway, yeah. So that's a good question. When it comes to medications, like I said, I usually wait for that first wave. You guys remember Fin from the 90s? It was like I almost said date loss. It's a weight loss drug. But it turned out it gave you heart problems. So we stopped. The FDA removed it from the U.S. It went back to being from approved to not approved. And then the company that made it just started selling it in some African countries. So that was nice of them. Now, as far as a vaccine for COVID-19, yeah, I think I would. I think I would, even if it was new. I think I'd go ahead and do it. Uh, that is, it's a yeah. I think I would. All right. What else do I? Yeah, yeah. Doc Fearsome says I'm very eager to get the vaccine. Da, da, da. I'll probably get it as soon as I can. Yeah, I think I will too. I'm not sure what the Richie from Boston thing is about, but that looks amazing. All right, let's see. I'm being persecuted. My right to free speech is being infringed. Sounds pretty stupid when I read it out. Amiga, that's you're awesome. Uh oh, and the most fun. This is not the weirdest conspiracy theory surrounding COVID-19. The weirdest one for me is the cell tower, the G5 one. That's the one where I'm just like, what? How? What is your thought process that you think a virus can be generated by a cell phone tower? What the fuck? So anyway, but this is another one that's Bill Gates is using the vaccine to change your DNA and track your every movement, says Dave's bouncy ball. And Dave's bouncy ball is being hilarious and snarky. Yeah, it's not. It's not about that. And actually, Bill and Melinda Gates should be commended for how much money and aid they are pouring into healthcare facilities to try and get a vaccine out as soon as possible. I mean, they really are. They're giving. I mean, they have it to give, obviously, but they're very wealthy. But they're giving what they can. Yeah. Yep. Alchemist says I would have it, meaning the vaccine. Yeah. Godless Comer says, let's see if this would be better if I just bring it up. If and when we get a vaccine, I'll get it provided I'm able to. Oh, I hope you don't mind that I put that up there. Why would you? I don't know. Immunosuppressant medication for a long time, so there's certain yeah, yeah. I feel you, and that's why the malaria drug is so scary. Scary hydrochloroquine because that's an immunosuppressant drug, and there's another one that's used for people who have lupus. But again, lupus is an it's a endocrine. Is that the word? Anyway, it's a problem with your immune system over responding. So yeah, there are a lot of people on drugs that suppress their immune system, so they can have like vaccines can be that normally aren't dangerous can be more dangerous or can be actually a little can be dangerous for those folks. Blah. Anyway, point is, ask a doctor, not me, because I studied English, not medicine. Okay. Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. This is insane. The 5G conspiracy shit does need to stop. Yeah, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jeff. I knew people had burned down towers, cell phone towers. I did not know that telecoms workers were attacked. Oh my gosh. That is insane and horrible. Come on, UK. You guys are supposed to be more sensible than we are. We're we're the crazy stupid ones. It's the accent. You all sound smarter. That's what it is. Uh that Ricardo. It's the says it's the sign. It's the son of God. Wait, what are you talking about? I need some clarification, Ricardo. Oh yeah, and Seventh Day Adventists. If you guys don't know who they are, that's a fun cult to look up sometime. But they always think it's the end of the world, but they like really super duper think it's the end of the world right now because of the pandemic. So they believe the pandemic's real. They're just sure that Armageddon's happening any day now. Mhm. Okay, I'm not saying that I agree. I'm just gonna pop that up for a second. I love all of my UK people. You know that. You guys are amazing. That's why I have a drink at 2 in the afternoon, which in the US is downright sinful. Not supposed to be doing that. Mm. Oh, the other thing I should tell you. Oh, oh, brain bug. Should I go back to my Missouri accent to show solidarity with Junk Shop and Julie? Uh, I like your voice, Brian, just the way it is. You speak how you want. Um, Mine gets thicker when I'm drinking, especially if I'm drinking whiskey, which I find interesting. And it also gets thicker sometimes just if I want to. Like if I'm making a certain point, like it's more fun to say, "Ah, Lord," than it is to say, "Oh my God" or "Oh Lord," right? So, I'll do that sometimes just for fun. Doc Fearsome, you could be my messiah anytime, buddy. You get those magical healing powers and just bring them on over. Maybe you can fix this eczema that's on my face right now that I'm very self conscious about because it's on my face. It's from allergies. I'm fine, but I don't like it. And it's itchy. I'd be like Cain from Kung Fu and walk the earth, except I'd be healing people, not Kung Fuing them. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Yeah, Jeff is sane. Absolutely. Um, then again, yeah, it's a legal term. It does. It's difficult to define. It's like pornography. You know it when you see it. All right. So it looks like there's an oh, hang on. I got added in something. Added. Isn't it funny when all things computer related change vocabulary? Okay. Oh, David Icke is a conspiracy. Is it Ike? I'm Yeah, David Icke, right? Anyway, is a conspiracy peddler that in 80s and 90s helped me, Jeff. Yeah, help at God. Said he was son of God. Oh, one of those. Yeah, yeah. Where was he? Was he in? Because there's also isn't there also a David Icke who was an author? But I don't think it was spelled the same. Uh, oh man, I hope so. Okay, yeah, you're familiar. Hey Jeff, was he from your neck of the woods or was he American? We get a lot of we had David Koresh, we get a lot of wannabe messiahs over here who don't properly even know what that word means. By the way, but oh no. Okay. Wow. Yeah, there is a lot going on in the chat. I can barely. Is it the same? Wait, no, you're talking to Brain Bug. Oh, I get you. Okay. So David Icke is the guy who's like, yeah, lizard people and then of course Junk Shop replied with alien overlords. Sorry, that was probably really loud in your ears. And then Ricardo is yes, same one. Okay. So that guy. Lizard people. The more time you spend online, I have a photograph, not a proper photograph. It's on my, you know what I mean, cell phone. I have a selfie. Um, that Junk Shop took. The moment that I realized that flat earthers were an actual thing and that they weren't kidding, and I look like emotionally disturbed and a little scared. So, yeah, there's a lot of weirdness out there. Oh, he is British. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. former professional soccer player, or football player, who got a job as sports presenter on the BBC, and then he went batshit crazy. Maybe he got hit in the head with the ball too many times. I don't know. That does happen. I'm sorry he went crazy, but it's lame that he just had to put that whole lizard people thing out there because people have glommed on. They like it. Uh, and Doc Fearsome. Oh, seriously? Okay, this pisses me. Not you, Doc. Thank you for pointing this out because this really pisses me off. Um, the pandemic and all of that. People who try to say it was engineered or that it's not real. Those are dangerous. Both of those are dangerous things. The first one is dangerous because it's creating an it's othering people when we don't need to be doing that right now. We need to be coming together as a species, sharing good information and not misinformation. And so saying that it was engineered by the US or by some other or a shadow government or the world government or whatever the fuck is a stupid, and it's been completely debunked. This is a perfectly natural virus. It's just a new one. And then oh, that's terrifying. Yeah, and then the other aspect of that is some people, or not, maybe not a pandemic, but then the other thing is the people who think it's a hoax and think it isn't real. And they're dangerous, obviously, because they're doing things like going to COVID-19 parties and dying young for no good reason or for avoidable reasons. Um, and yeah, Godless Scummer says, I just lost it. I love that you guys are talking so much. What is it? Shadow government, says Mr. Shadow Kitty. Oh, that would be if you ran the world secretly, Mr. Shadow Kitty. Actually, what would be better would be if Shadow ran the world and you're just like his human puppet. That would be the best thing. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. All right. So how are we doing? Am I junk shopping at all? How do we look? And now we're talking about Dave's balls in the chat, which means I should talk about some other things. Sorry, I thought those stories were going to take a wee bit longer to get through because there were so damn many of them. I'm going to hop over to one here, make sure I covered everything. Uh, yeah, Florida, 132 new deaths and 9,100 plus new cases as of, when did this come out? Uh, Oh, I gotta stop that. That's actually a song. Okay. Oh, this came out. Well, this came out today, so just a few hours ago. All right. And then I think the other one was about Tennessee. Yes. Okay. So the Tennessee spike, and these two are definitely linked in the show notes. That's insane. Colon TN spike in COVID-19 cases makes people question their actions. Really? Thank goodness. It should make you question your actions. Sorry if I'm yelling. Sorry if I'm yelling. I don't want to get all crazy and foamy at the mouth like Alex Jones. Oh, that's what Jeff said. He said that Ike was a nicer, like a more well-spoken version of Alex Jones, which is terrifying, but also at least it would be easier on the ears. Um, yeah. So this one is where we get the 3,300 plus new cases, and Tennessee makes for the largest spike in 24 hours. Yeah, and then it talks about a specific county, Hamilton County, and so on. And there's this really adorable young lady who was traveling through Tennessee, and people like weren't wearing masks, and um, yeah, it just get and she's the person who said, quote, I've had people come up and try to hug me, and I'm like, hey, nope, I'm not hugging. And it's just ridiculous. Don't do that. Especially right now, but also not everybody's a hugger. It's okay. I'm a very I'm very into hugs, but not everyone is, and you have to respect that. Sorry, this light is driving me nuts. Yeah, so this is I should have oh no, that's worse. This is like when you make a character in Skyrim and you're trying to get the skin tone to look interesting or normal or whatever it is you're going for, and it just doesn't want to work with you. That's a little better. That's the green filter. Let me know if I look ill. Hi, Math Pig. Yeah, you're a bit late, but it's cool. Yeah, I think I know why you coughed there, Dave. Yes. Brain bug, the moment this pandemic ebbs, yes, if we are in the same place at the same time, you're getting a hug. Thank you. And I'm hugging anybody else who can have a hug as well and wants one. I want to hug my mom. I had a weird realization the other day because I was the only one of my siblings who never moved far away or joined the armed forces or anything like that. So since March from now is quite literally the longest I've ever gone in my 42 years of life without seeing my parents. And even though I talk to them on the phone quite a bit, I just miss them terribly. And it's a weird feeling because I've never missed them before. Because it's never been months and months and months since I've seen them. So it's interesting. All right. Any more questions before you guys are having a lot of fun? I want to think of something witty and funny to say so you'll keep talking to each other because you seem to be having a blast. But yeah, COVID free hugs, everybody. Doc Fearsome's give them out. Yay. I hate emojis. When I first saw them, I was like, ugh, that's just for people who can't write. No, I totally get it now. Also, I read a study that something like 80% of text messages are, aw, that's very sweet. Thank you, Jeff. Virtual hugs back to everybody. Oh, and this is an important point. My best friend since high school is exactly the same, nerdy. That is fine. Yes, I despise hugging unless it's someone I've pre-approved for hugs, and that's how my best friend and I work it. I get one hug per visit, and she lets me know when she's ready for the hug. So I don't just go in for the hug anymore. And that's why it's always good to be clear about one's boundaries because for years I would just if I saw her, I would just hug her and I didn't realize how uncomfortable it made her until one day she finally told me after we'd been friends for like 15 years. All right. Well, to each your own. Okay. I am a and I'm putting this up and then I'm officially babbling incoherently. All right. Okay. So everybody good? Oh, I love y'all. You're awesome. All right. Well, stay safe out there. Wear a mask. Don't do this unless you do it already. Just this is a good time to stop doing this. It's expensive. It's stupid. Don't do it. And it's been rough for a lot of us, and a lot of therapists are doing telecommunication therapy. So if you need that and you're looking for a secular therapist who does that, you can go to the Secular Therapy Project. They have a website, or you can go to the Freedom from Religion Foundation. I think they have a link. as well. And you can find, even you don't even necessarily have to find a therapist in your area. They could be in a different state, as long as they're willing to work across state lines. Then you're good to go. So if if you're having trouble coping with the seemingly endless pandemic, it's perfectly normal. Talk to a professional about it. All right. Well, and remember, you won't find truth in wine, but you can find it in reason. Love from Memphis, y'all. Oh, thank you, Junk Shop. Hang on. I'm gonna hang out for 1 second. Just make sure, guys. Put me. I say guys as a gender neutral term. Folks, people, everybody. Put links in the chat if you want. If you can, if you have a spanner, or if you, yeah, please do that. I don't know. Shill your own stuff. I don't care. All right. So I will see you. Yes. Please stay safe out there, everyone. And I will see you next Tuesday, hopefully with a new topic, because my goodness, the pandemic, man. I'll try and think of something fun and funny to do. And yes, we are ordering the new computer, and the couple stream will return. So once we get that. Okay. All right. I'm definitely going this time in broadcast. And